Most people think the path to wealth starts with a clean slate, zero debt, then investing. It feels responsible, it feels safe, but that logic has a fatal flaw. You have credit card debt, maybe student loans, probably a car payment, and every financial voice on the internet is screaming at you to pay it all off before you even think about investing. So you throw every extra dollar at your debts. You skip the 401k match. You tell yourself you'll start saving for retirement once you're free and clear. But here's what nobody tells you. If you're waiting until you're debt-free to invest, you're not being responsible. You're making the single most expensive decision of your financial life. Debt has an interest rate, but time does not. I'm going to show you exactly how to save for retirement while you're still in debt, not by ignoring the debt, but by understanding which dollars belong where, using a simple framework based on interest rates and the time value of money. So you can stop choosing between your future and your past and start building wealth even while you clean up your balance sheet. Most people think the path to wealth starts with a clean slate, zero debt, then investing. It feels responsible, it feels safe, but that logic has a fatal flaw. Meet Sarah. She's 32, earns $75,000 a year, and has $8,000 in credit card debt at 22% APR. She also has $35,000 in student loans at 5.5%. And her employer offers a 401k with a 50% match on the first 6% she contributes. Sarah decides to get serious about money. She stops her 401k contributions entirely and puts every spare dollar towards her credit cards. 6 months later, the cards are gone. She feels accomplished, but also she left $2,250 of her employer match money on the table permanently. That employer match was a guaranteed 50% return. She traded it for a 22% expense. That math doesn't work. Here's why the debt-first trap is so seductive. Humans are wired to eliminate pain before seeking pleasure. Debt feels like pain, and investing feels optional. So we instinctively attack the debt and tell ourselves we'll invest later. Later is the problem. Every year you don't invest is a year of compounding you cannot buy back at any price. The stock market doesn't care about your intentions. It only cares about the dollars you put in and the time you give them to grow. Think of it like this. You have two fires burning. One is a bonfire in your backyard. That's your credit card debt, raging at 22% or more. The other is a pilot light in your basement. That's your retirement account, barely flickering because you haven't fed it. The debt-first crowd says put out the backyard fire completely before you even look at the basement. But if the basement goes out entirely, you lose something worse than money. You lose decades. The most expensive word in personal finance is later. Everyone understands that debt compounds against you. What almost nobody grasps is that compounding works exponentially in your favor too. And the variable that matters most isn't how much you invest, it's when you start. Take two people, both investing $500 a month. Mike starts at age 25 and stops at 35. 10 years, $60,000 in total. Jennifer starts at 35 and goes until 65. 30 years, $180,000 in total. Same 8% average return. At age 65, Mike has roughly $875,000. Jennifer has about $745,000. Jennifer invested 3 times as much money and still ended up with $130,000 less. Mike's money had time to grow. Jennifer's never caught up. This is the math that breaks brains. And it's why I'll invest when I'm debt-free is such a dangerous sentence. If you're 30 with student loans and a car payment, you might not be debt-free until 38 or 40, or even 60. Those 8 to 10 years aren't just lost time. They're lost exponential time. The early dollars you put in aren't working alone. They're recruiting new dollars, which recruit more dollars, which recruit more dollars. The rule of 72 tells you how fast money doubles. Divide 72 by your return. At 8%, money doubles every 9 years. $1 at age 25 becomes $2 at 34, $4 at 43, $8 at 52, $16 at 61. The same dollar at age 35 becomes $2 at 44, $4 at 53, $8 at 62. You don't just lose the first double, you lose the final double. And that final double is the biggest one. Debt is like a leak in your boat. Investing is like building a bigger boat. If you spend all the time plugging small leaks while ignoring the hole, you might stay afloat, but you'll never outpace the ocean. Time value of money means the ocean doesn't pause while you patch up. Let's fix Sarah from our last segment. Instead of skipping her 401k entirely, she contributed 6% to capture the full employer match. That's $4,500 a year from her, $2,250 from her employer. She puts the rest of her extra cash towards the 22% credit card debt. She doesn't touch the student loans yet. Her credit cards are gone in 9 months instead of 6. but she now has $6,750 in her 401k that didn't exist before. And that money is already compounding. At age 65, that single year of matching contributions alone grows to roughly $68,000. You traded 3 months of debt payoff for $68,000 future dollars. Every dollar you don't invest today costs you multiple dollars in the future, and you don't get those years back. Not all debt is equal. And treating it like this, attacking the small balances first, or the one that emotionally bothers you the most, is one of the most expensive behavioral mistakes in personal finance. James has $4,000 left on a car loan at 6.9%, $12,000 in student loans at 4.5%, and $6,000 on a credit card at 24.99%. He decides to attack the car loan first because it feels achievable. I'll knock this out in 8 months and feel good. Meanwhile, the credit card balance swells. The student loans trudge along, and he skips the Roth IRA because I'm focused on debt now. 8 months later, the car is paid off. He feels a dopamine hit, but the credit card grew by nearly $1,000 in interest alone. You won a small battle and lost the war. You need to look at your debt like a temperature reading. The interest rate is the temperature. The higher the rate, the more urgent the fire. Credit card debt at 20% or more is a 5-alarm fire. Nothing in the stock market reliably beats that. Every extra dollar you put towards a 24% credit card is a guaranteed 24% return, risk-free, tax-free, instant. There is no investment on earth that competes with that. So credit cards get absolute priority above everything except your employer match. Student loans at 4% to 7% are a slow burn. They're annoying. They feel permanent. But over a 30-year horizon, the stock market historically returns more than that. So dollars directed here instead of a retirement account are most likely losing dollars. Car loans at 6 to 9% sit in a gray area. If the rate is high and you're early in the loan, extra payments make sense. If the rate is low and you're 3 years in, the math usually favors investing. If the debt costs more than 7%, pay it down aggressively after capturing any employer match. If it costs less than 7%, fund your retirement first and make minimum payments on the debt. The 7% threshold isn't magic. It's roughly the historical boundary where debt becomes more expensive than conservative long-term investment returns, adjusted for risk. Think of your money like water pressure in a building. You have a fixed amount of pressure. That's your monthly cash flow. You need to send enough pressure to every floor to keep the lights on, minimum payments. Then you send the maximum pressure to the floor that's flooding, the highest interest debt. But you also need to send some pressure to the floor where you're building a reservoir for the future, the retirement account. If you send everything to the flooding floor and nothing to the reserve, you'll fix today's problem and create tomorrow's drought. Let's rebuild James's strategy using the hierarchy. He has $800 a month available for minimums. Step 1. Contribute $375 to his 401k to get a full 6% employer match. Step 2. Put the remaining $425 towards the 24.99% credit card. Your credit cards are gone in 15 months. Step 3, redirect that $425 plus the freed up minimum payment towards the car loan. Step 4, once the car is gone, split the extra cash between the student loans and maxing out the Roth IRA. James is still debt-free in roughly the same total time frame, but he has tens of thousands more in retirement accounts because he didn't ignore compounding while he cleaned house. If your expected investment return exceeds your debt interest, every extra dollar towards debt is a losing bet. Okay, so the theory makes sense, but what do you do with every paycheck? Let me give you the exact framework we use in Emiratis, the one that removes the guesswork and guilt from every extra dollar. But let me start with the bad example, all or nothing approach. Either every extra penny goes to debt, or you're building wealth and you ignore the debt. Both extremes destroy your net worth. One destroys it through missed opportunity, one destroys it through missed compounding, the other destroys it through runaway interest. Here's a 5-step system. Write this down. Step 1. Minimum payments on every debt, no exceptions. Protect your credit card score, avoid late fees, keep the lights on. Step 2, capture your full employer match. This is non-negotiable. A 50% or 100% match is an immediate guaranteed return that no debt interest rate can beat. If you leave this on the table, you're lighting money on fire. Step 3, attack credit card debt with everything left. If you're carrying balance at 18, 22, or 28%, this is your 5-alarm fire. Every extra dollar here earns you that rate, risk-free, the moment it hits the principal. Step 4, elevate your remaining debt against 7%. Student loans at 4%, car loans at 6%, these are below the threshold. Now you split your remaining cash flow. At minimum, put half towards retirement and half towards extra debt payments. If you're more aggressive, weight at 70%, 30% debt. If you're conservative, flip it, but never go 100% in either direction again. Step 5, automate everything. Your 401k contribution comes out before you see it. Your extra debt payment transfers automatically on payday. You should not be making this decision every month. Decision fatigue kills financial plans. Let's run real numbers. You bring home $5,000 a month. Minimum debt payments are $1,200. You need $2,800 for expenses. That leaves $1,000. Your employer matches 50% on 6%, so you contribute $300 to get the $150 match. You have $700 left. Credit cards at 22%, put all $700 there until they're gone. Once they are, split that $700, $400 to your Roth IRA, $300 extra to your student loans. You're not debt-free yet, but you're also not broke at 65. Let's look at this over 5 years. If you went all in on debt, you'd be debt-free in year 3. Then start investing. By year 5, you might have $30,000 in retirement accounts. If you use the hybrid framework, you'd still have some student loan debt in year 5, maybe $8,000 left. But you have $55,000 in retirement accounts. Your net worth is higher. Your stress is lower because you're seeing both numbers move in the right direction. Most importantly, you've built the habit of investing so you don't stop when the debt is gone. The framework is simple, but here's the truth. The best financial plan in the world is worthless if you abandon it in month 4 because you're checking your investment account, seeing it down 8% and panicking while you still owe Sally Mae 15 grand. Lisa set up the perfect split. She's contributing to her 401k. She's hammering her credit cards. She's doing everything right. Then in month 6, the market drops 12%. She logs into her retirement account and she sees $4,200, where she expected $4,800. Her stomach drops. She stops her contributions. I'll restart when the market feels safer, she says. She never restarts. The debt gets paid off eventually, but her retirement account sits frozen for 3 years. She lost the habit. She lost the match. And she lost the compounding. This is why behavior matters more than math. You need to architect your finances so that you cannot sabotage yourself. First, automate every transfer. Your 401k deduction happens before your paycheck arrives. Your extra debt payment transfers automatically on payday. Your Roth IRA contribution should be on autopilot. If you have to log in manually to move money, you will find reasons not to do so. Second, separate your accounts mentally and physically. Your retirement account is not your money. It belongs to your 65-year-old self. Your debt payoff account is a utility bill. It gets paid automatically. You don't negotiate with the electric company every month. Don't negotiate with your debt. Third, pick a frequency to check your balances and stick to it. For debt payoff, once a month is fine. For retirement, once a quarter is plenty. More frequent checking leads to emotional decision-making, and emotional decision-making destroys returns. Fourth, track the right number. Don't obsess over the investment balance. That's a movie that fluctuates. Track your contribution rate instead. That's the only variable control. If you're hitting your monthly contribution target, you're winning, regardless of what the account says. Think of your financial life like a highway. The debt is a rough patch in the road. Investing is the engine. You don't stop the engine to fix the road. You slow down, navigate carefully, and keep moving. If you pull over entirely, you lose momentum. And momentum is the only thing that gets you to the destination. Here's what Lisa should have done. She automates her 401k at 6% and never looks at it. She sets a calendar reminder to check her retirement account once per quarter. She puts a sticky note on her monitor that says, "I don't own this money yet." Her extra debt payment auto-transfers every payday. She tracks her progress on a simple spreadsheet that only shows principal paydown, not investment balance. When the market drops 12%, she doesn't even know about it for 2 months. By the time she checks, it's already recovering. She never broke the habit. She never missed a match. And 5 years later, she has both a clean balance sheet and a retirement account that matters. The best financial plan is the one you don't have to think about. If you're carrying debt right now and feel guilty about investing, you are not irresponsible for building your future while cleaning up your past. You're being strategic. The question isn't whether you invest or pay off debt. The question is which dollar goes where and in what order. If you want help building the exact framework for your specific numbers, your interest rates, your employer match, your cash flow, that's what we do at Numeratus.us. We'll look at your entire financial architecture, build a system that handles both your debt and your retirement without the guesswork, and make sure you're not leaving money on the table while you sleep. Because the most expensive thing you can do right now is wait. You don't have to.